So years ago, a little over 7 years ago, I founded a 501c3 public charity called the Shook Foundation that we want to share our profits with. My wife and myself made a decision to give half our income to charity, and so we thought to do that we would found our own private foundation. We've done so, and what we're very excited about now is, as seen last week or September the 9th, wow, are you serious? It's been on the... Oh, September 17th, okay, it's better. It's trying to make me feel like it's been longer than it has. On September the 17th, we actually appeared on the Today Show, and here's what we said. We also went to a party in New York City on the 17th, and in LA on the 22nd, a red carpet event, and we launched our campaign to give away 50 homes to 50 disabled veterans in the next So, you know, Pinnacle, in what we do in Pinnacle Property Solutions, we get to rebuild communities and families, and that is so much fun in our company. We get to make a lot of money doing it. We get to make our investors a lot of money doing it. It's an exciting, good thing to do. But this is a lot of fun. We've given away houses to different people, charities, families before, but never before at this level. So we launched our national campaign to give away 50 homes to wounded or disabled veterans. The first families in Jacksonville, Florida, the Hamilton families. You guys will see us on the news all around here about the first couple weeks or so of December. We'll be presenting them with the first home that we're giving away. And the second home we gave away in LA was to the actual DAV, the Disabled American Veterans Chapter. They were using church was donating 4 hours a week for them to use some space. We're actually donating them a home and converting it into an office space where they can have full-time counseling for thousands of families all the day, 7 days a week, as much as they want to counsel. So, very exciting, our first 2 homes that we've given away. And this is what I know. It's a life-changing event. It's an absolute life-changing event. So we'd love for you to be a part of our family and a part of our company to get to do this. Also tomorrow, I'll be flying in right at the end before we give away the house because I leave at 9 a.m. You'll see the guys, you won't see me tomorrow because we're going to do an auction on up to 70 million homes. We're the nation's, they're touting us as the U.S. Foreclosure market expert. And we're going to be interviewed by Alan Thicke and a couple of other folks all day tomorrow on live TV for 4 hours to 70 million homes as we auction off homes, and some of those are our homes that we're auctioning off tomorrow on network television. So we're doing some stuff. I told y'all that to say we're doing some stuff. So I don't want to take away from the other people that are here, but let you know that, give you a sense of stability. We are who we are, we have what we have, and we would love for you to take up your opportunity and join us in this. Because it's a lot of fun. It really is. And you get to make money. It's a blast. All right. Now, how money works. How many of you know how you think you know how money works? You got to kind of figure it out. You know, just debits and credits, right? Checkbook, money in, money out. That's kind of how it works. Well, any of you ever heard of a guy named G. Ed Griffin? Anybody ever heard of the book called The Creature from Jekyll Island? Yes. Okay. Ed Griffin is a mentor and a personal friend of mine, and actually, this is the last event that we're doing. We've kind of broken a lot of ties of things we've been working on for the last year because we are rolling out a campaign with Ed Griffin and ourselves, with Freedom Force and some different others, to start to go around the country and then around the world talking about these subjects. But I always throw a piece of this in here. He was a friend of mine, a mentor of mine, and he taught me so much stuff. So I'm going to take 5 minutes, if you don't mind, give you a couple of quick demonstrations. His book, The Creature from Jekyll Island, is about 600 or 700 pages. It's big. I'm going to tell you all that stuff it says in about 7 minutes, okay? But I'm going to do it in real simple ways that you can get and understand, you can comprehend. And the reason I'm doing it, it's not to sell more Creature from Jekyll Island books, although you should go buy one if you don't have one. Is because you need to know that there really is such a thing as an REO. You really need to know that there really is such a thing as a foreclosure market. You really need to know what state we're in, and you also need to know it's not a surprise to anybody. Okay? This is all part of a plan, I'd say it, but it is what's happening, and we are where we are, and it's not pretty. But if you're educated and you know what's going on, you can take advantage of those opportunities. okay? So it's a little deeper than that, but I want to show you how houses actually can be bought for little bits of money. Now, you guys are educated more than a lot of others, but a lot of people will see this and go, "We can't buy a house for $24,900. They got to be junk or trash or not real or a scam or, you know." And it's just this is going to show you that that's a reality. So let me ask you this: how many of you believe that the Federal Reserve is a government agency? Got one. Really? Is that all? Federal Reserve is a government agency. Anybody ever heard of the Federal Reserve? You heard of that? Okay, all right. Okay. Well, let me tell you, the Federal Reserve is not a government agency. It has nothing to do with our federal government whatsoever. It's a private bank that was established in 1913. It absolutely is a private bank, a consortium, if you will, of banks that came together and formed a central bank, and they control and make all monetary policy of our country, and all their central banks make all the monetary policy of all the countries that are established around the world. Okay? So, it is not a federal agency, though. It has nothing to do. It's a private bank. It has nothing to do with the government. We like to say it's no more federal than Federal Express. So, how many of you... how many of you believe that Federal Express is a government agency? All right. So, now there's two basic ways that money is created. I'm going to go very quickly through those with you with simple demonstrations. I promise you they're accurate. Come on, guys. I promise you they're accurate. They are extremely simple so you can get and understand it, but I promise you they're accurate. All right. Two ways money is created. The first way is through our federal government budget. Yeah, sure. Our federal... Don't put me next to him. All right. You want to have sort of if I'm down here. All right. And he's a senator too. See? All right. Two ways money is created. The first way is the federal government budget. This is a demonstration on $1 billion. Back in the good old days, $1 billion actually lasted an entire day in our government. I know that you find that hard to believe, but it actually did. So it does it now. Lasts a few minutes, but for the purpose of this demonstration, we're going to imagine, if you will, that it lasts an entire day. So we've got the senator here that represents our government, our senator and congressman in the Senate, and the senators and congressmen in our Congress. And then you have the local bank, and you have the Federal Reserve Bank. That's like Mr. Bernanke and his crew over there at the Federal Reserve Bank. Remember, they're not a government agency. But our government does agree to borrow money on our budget. So they pass a budget. Have you ever heard of that? They have to pass a budget. Now, they pass a budget to say this. We know we got taxes coming in, but we want to pass a budget to tell you, the Americans that are paying the taxes, how much we're going to borrow to fund our programs. Okay? So they have to go borrow it from somewhere, and who do they borrow it from? The Federal Reserve. You got it. So let's imagine, if you will, that the Federal Reserve Bank is a couple blocks down from the Senate, which it is, and the senator gets up from his desk every day, and it's his job to go collect the cash. So he strolls over to the Federal Reserve. The Federal Reserve opens up, this is what Ed Griffin's book said, the Federal Reserve opens up his desk, he pulls out a checkbook, then he opens the checkbook, he writes a check for $1 billion, and he hands it to the senator. Now the senator has a check for $1 billion. Do you guys believe for a second there's $1 billion in a checking account somewhere? Right, just like your dollars. They say, you know, it's the good faith and standard of the Federal Reserve. The Federal Reserve note. If you look at it, it doesn't say anything about government. It says the Federal Reserve note. So, they say, if you'll take this to one of our banks, one of our charters, one of our places, they will stamp this as good for you, and you will have your $1 billion that you guys need to borrow to operate your government. So he takes it to a local bank. Any local bank will do, because if you are a local bank and you accept U.S. dollars, you are a Federal Reserve licensed bank. You cannot accept U.S. dollars unless you are a licensed Federal Reserve bank. So all of the banks are their licensees. So they go to their bank of choice and they deposit their $1 billion into their checking account. Now, the senator goes back and he sits down and he writes out checks to the military. And he writes out checks to Social Security. He writes out checks to Medicare. He pays the people in the government. And they send all these checks out. Now, how many of you believe there's money in that actual checkbook of that check of the government, right? You follow me? When does it become money? When the military wife goes to Walmart and uses her debit cards and spends that money,